And next, we're going to talk about the TMN layering model. In the triangle, you can see various layers. At the bottom are the network elements, and then we have the element management system, the network management system, service management levels system, and the business management system. They're shaped this way because it's intended to convey that there's many more network elements than there are element management systems, and so on. In fact, usually it's an order of magnitude. It's not a triangle. It should be a much steeper triangle, I suppose, if it was or wider. Anyway, on the left-hand side, you can see netconf is the protocol that's commonly used for the network elements to present to the management systems. The various management system layers, because they don't have to use netconf as much as the network elements do, can use REST-based APIs, or really any reasonable programmatic API would be fine. But REST-based APIs are very commonly used today for many web app type applications. And as long as you're using a REST API and you have Yang in your system, it somewhat makes sense to use RESTconf as well, especially if you're trying to convey that Yang up into higher levels of the management system stack. So let's talk about these various layers one at a time, top down. First, we have the business management system. This system is managing the functions related to a specific business, and often it's developed in-house because it's very business specific. However, there are some tools that businesses can purchase and customize or have customized for them in order to implement their business management system. The service management system manages services in the network. So it uses high-level abstractions to bridge the gap between what users want and what the network implements. So for instance, you could have services such as quality of service, firewall, VPN, attack detection, mitigation, prevention, compute as a service, network as a service. There's many different kinds of services that could be presented, domain specific. In quantum networking domain, you might have services like key generation as a service, entanglement as a service, teleportation as a service. So you'd have domain specific services. Next is the network management system, which is managing the network of different kinds of resources. And it uses abstractions to generalize the EMS specific data models. The element management system is a system managing a single kind of resource. So typically it'd be managing the resources or the kinds of devices that were produced by a single vendor. It has few to no abstractions over the network element provided data models. Many times the element management system is hierarchically and geographically distributed. This is because it's necessary to deploy data collection nodes out to where the devices are located in order to collect the data as quickly as possible and without consuming too much network bandwidth. But once you've deployed those elements or data collection nodes out to the network, you need to hierarchically relate them in order to bring the alerts all the way back up into the central management system. And lastly, there's the network elements. These are the devices handling the data plane traffic of the network. In classical networks, the data plane would be IP. In quantum networks, the data plane is light or free space, fiber. Next, there's the TMN FCAPS model. FCAPS is an acronym standing for fault management, configuration management, accounting management, performance management, and security management. And you can see each of these kinds of management are bisecting the various layers of the layering model. And this is to say, or meant to convey, that these concerns exist at each layer of the management system. Let's discuss what each of these are. Fault management is used to recognize, log, and correct, to the extent possible, faults occurring in the network. Configuration management gathers, stores, tracks configurations from the network devices. It also updates and pushes configurations to the networking devices. And many times it includes inventory management, software management, and license management as well. Accounting management is used to track network utilization information for billing purposes. Also, it's used for enforcing quotas. Performance management ensures network performance is maintained at acceptable levels, for instance, of throughput, the response times, and utilization of the network. And it supports capacity planning and service level agreements. And lastly, there's security management, which controls access to the network resources according to local policy. Here's where you'll find the infamous AAA, or authentication, authorization, and accounting or auditing. Also, if you were to have your system audited or needs to be certified, the certifications such as FCAPS or common criteria would be performed on the security management layer, or in this area.